Hey guys, welcome back. It is me, Jocelyn, and today I wanted to make a video about the dark night of the soul. If you click on the link above, you can head over to my first video on the dark night of the soul, and it's a little bit of a different take. Honestly, it's a little bit more of a human way to describe what goes on. This video, this is part 2. This is where I'm going to explain it in a really different way too, so people can really understand the process of why a dark night of the soul happens, what it actually means. People think it's this spiritual process, but what I do is combine the spirituality with the science to show what's going on, and especially diving into psychology, the phases of development that we go through that are going to help you understand what you're experiencing while you're going through the dark night of the soul, especially how to change it, because it can be such a traumatic experience. That's my whole goal, is helping people to get through it. If you guys are really needing help, you can definitely contact me. I do one-on-one coaching through a variety of things. I help people through their awakening process, through their dark night of the soul, and especially through twin flame, karmic, and soulmate relationships. I help the healing in all of those aspects. And then I also provide psychic tarot readings on the side for just like one-on-one sessions if you're wanting a single session. The dark night of the soul is something that can happen to everyone. It all depends on everyone's own chemical process, what their environment was like when they grew up. And if you guys have looked at all my other information, you'll understand that I take a different approach as far as I talk about narcissism a lot and the low vibrational emotions of shame, guilt, and fear, and how that's actually the thing that has created our body. It's a particle-based body that will move us through these awakening processes throughout our life. So not everyone is going to experience a dark night of the soul, and this is how I'm going to explain it. The other thing that's important to understand about a dark night of the soul is that we can actually go through multiple in our lifetime. We can experience multiple of them. It's based off of the way you were raised. So you can click the link above and you can head over to my video where I talk about the narcissistic family dynamic. But the basics of that is that there's usually a narcissistic parent, there's a scapegoat that gets shame, guilt, and fear projected at them, and they're a complete reflection of the narcissistic parent's shame, guilt, and fear shadow aspect of them. And then there's the golden child, who is a reflection of the narcissistic parent's grandiose image that they put on to cover up their shame, guilt, and fears. The parents kind of psychologically entangle, they create the children. They're creating them based off of their own DNA, their own thought processes, the amino acids that they're putting together through their brain chemicals and the foods that they're ingesting. It's a combination of both that's going to create the child in the first place. But they're psychologically entangling with the baby, with the fetus, and this is causing the baby to take on all of their everything. Their thoughts, thought patterns, beliefs, brain chemical releases, even the chemicals of the food they're putting in their body, the baby is creating that, and they will be an actual reflection of the parent. We all know this, but this is why parents get so triggered by their children, is because the children are complete reflections of them, and so then they freak out and have emotional responses because that's a complete reflection of the chemical programming that's in the cells of their body. There's these phases of development that we go through. And I also talk about this in my videos called The Awakening Process. You can head over to those because that's going to be really huge. The Dark Night of the Soul and the Awakening Process, they're kind of similar, but this video is going to be a little different because I'm going to dive into the actual process of the Dark Night of the Soul and what happens, especially for an empath or a scapegoat or a black sheep of the family. This is going to be the process that they're going to go through. An empath is going to get created off of the low vibrational emotions of shame, guilt, and fear. They are usually the child that the narcissistic parent, that's the baby, they have kind of used all these manipulation tactics to make sure that that empath child never leaves them. They teach the empath child to give away their power. And what happens with this in scientific terms is they teach the child through their observation to always give away photons of light to the narcissistic parent. That's what happens when we care about other people's feelings, needs, and emotions over ours. That's what an empath does. And then that's why an empath can lose themselves so easily. An empath will go through this whole abandonment and rejection cycle between their parents and between the relationships that they experience. So they'll keep attracting relationships where they keep going through abandonment and rejection and this whole cycle. It's a shame, guilt, and fear cycle. It's literally brain chemicals that have been stored in the receptors on the cells in their body. These low vibrational emotions are also associated with the brain chemical cortisol. This is stress. And when we think an excess amount of stressful thoughts, then it will create an acidic environment in our body that will host a variety of things like cancer, illnesses, diseases, things of that nature. You also have to take into effect, if you've already got programming in your cells that's based off of the low vibrational emotions of shame, guilt, and fear, you also have to take into effect the foods that you're eating. They have a vibration to them as well. If you're taking in processed foods, you can click the link above and where I talk about free radicals. Free radicals are a molecule that is missing an electron. It's missing energy to it. We can get free radicals. They come from a variety of sources in our environment. They can come from toxins in the air, processed foods. They can come from meats, cooked oils, chemicals on our produce. There's a huge variety of ways that we can get free radicals into our body. So I like to call them the energy vampire molecule or the man-made molecule or the narcissistic molecule, because when they go into your body, they will go up to the healthy cells and they will literally steal an electron that they need. They steal your energy. Your cell, once it loses that energy, it will start taking energy from the next cell and the next cell, and it kind of creates this domino effect where all of the cells start attacking each other because they're missing that energy and they just start taking it from each other. This is how your body starts attacking itself. Free radicals are the cause for 99 plus diseases, which include physical diseases like cancer and those type of things, and also mental illnesses, Alzheimer's, and things of that nature. So think about that. If that's the cause of all of these diseases, that's what's being put into our body. This is how it's going to cause a dark night of the soul. Eventually, if you've already grown up being the empath or the scapegoat or the black sheep of your family, and you've had all of these low vibrational brain chemicals of shame, guilt, and fear that you've entangled with on a consistent daily basis from your environment, plus the foods that you're eating, plus the environment, all the free radicals that you might be taking into your body, this is going to accumulate inside the body. This is why people can go through multiple dark night of the souls. This is the spiritual term for it, because your body finally breaks down in some way, shape, or form. It can be physically or mentally. Your body has this acidic environment so badly. This is where karma comes in. Whatever is going on in the energy of the cells of your body, how many like antioxidants you're getting, which have a lot of electrons. That's what we need to counteract the free radicals. So whatever state your cells are vibrating at, if they're at a cortisol level or a stress level, this will cause a dark night of the soul. Your environment, your situations and relationships are completely reflecting the state of your cells. Whatever energy is going on there. This is the type of relationships that you attract. They will reflect the relationships from your childhood. If you had a more stressful, traumatic, abusive upbringing, that gets stored literally in your cells. Those brain chemical releases are happening on a consistent basis every day. That will go into the cells in your body. Your cell literally starts creating all these receptors to take on that brain chemical. That energy stays there. It's not like it just disappears. You have to do actual vibrational work to change that, and I'll get to that in a second. So we go through these phases of development during our childhood. When we come out of the womb, we go through the oral anal phase, where we're discovering the world with our mouth and our downstairs body functions. If something goes wrong during that development, we're using those body functions. We're discovering the world in that way. We're using that as our way to vibrationally connect with food and things of that nature. If you are chemically having shame, guilt, or fear projected into your environment during that phase of development, it will cause you to have a oral fixation or addiction or an allergy, an oral allergy. In the future, as you become an adult, whenever those brain chemicals come up, whenever your cells, because your cells store that chemical since all the way back at that first age of development, your cells will store that in you. The memory of it is programmed into your neural net. As you get older, you keep attracting those same situations that will keep triggering those brain chemical releases between those two combinations. So you're holographically creating all of your situations in your environment because of quantum physics. You're literally projecting them and attracting them to you, because a lot of people are at the same kind of vibrational rate. You'll attract people that will be at the same type of vibration as you if they're at a shame, guilt, and fear level, and if they're at a cortisol level, you're going to be attracting them because that's literally what's in the cells of your body. As you keep attracting these relationships and this vibrational pattern that's within you, eventually, if you're having all of these chemical releases, your cells, they keep popping up more and more receptors to take on those low vibrational brain chemicals. And eventually, this is how it triggers a dark night of the soul, because you keep attracting these situations and relationships that are triggering those things. And then when a dark night of the soul comes up, it's an experience where literally everything in your life falls apart. Everything. You might lose everything. You could possibly go homeless. You could attract a lot of abusive relationships that are extremely painful and toxic. And it's because all of them are reflecting all of the toxic chemicals that are stored within the cells of your body. They're also going to be reflecting certain ages of development where those brain chemicals first stemmed from. I bring this up in the awakening process. So then there's another phase of development that we go through called the narcissistic phase or the power phase. If something goes wrong during that phase of development, then we will have a addiction or a allergy to power, or to giving or taking energy from people. And we do this again with our observation. We can give energy away, and we do that by caring about what other people think over what we think and what our wants and needs are. During the dark night of the soul, this is kind of the chemical process that's happening. This is what karma is. They say that it's where all of a sudden you'll have to be paying your karmic debt. This isn't like you owe anything to everyone. The only reason it's said that way is because everyone and your situations and everything is literally reflecting the state of your body, just the vibrational state of it. All of that, those toxins and chemicals and vibrations get accumulated in your cells, and then it's like all of a sudden everything blows up in your face. So the free radicals that are in your body, the low vibrational emotions of shame, guilt, and fear, all the cortisol stored in your cells, all those low vibrational receptors, it's going to be such a low energy. The interesting thing you should know is that as you're going throughout life and you're going through these contrasting relationships and situations, your brain is creating new things that you want. That's what the brain is so amazing and creative at doing. It decides, I don't like this anymore and I want this. But your cells have to line up with that new vibration that you created in your head, because you can create a brand new reality in your thoughts. The only trick is lining up your brain chemical releases and the cells in your body, what's going on inside of there, the receptors, the vibration of the receptors. You've got to line it up with the new thought that you just thought, with the new reality that you created in your mind. So that's the trick. You've got to line up those two vibrations, and that's usually what triggers the dark night of the soul. The dark night of the soul is usually something that happens when you've come to some type of realization or conclusion on where you want to be in life. Maybe you're following your dreams, or you're starting a new business, something along those lines. To be able to line up with all that new reality, you'll have to go through all of these phases of development where you first had shame, guilt, and fear projected into your environment in certain areas of your life. This is why, especially when you're starting a business, you'll have to confront fears around money and being successful and being able to provide your own abundance and source of energy and money. So you'll be confronted with all of those fears where the shame, guilt, and fear was projected at you in the very first place during your earlier phases of development. During the dark night of the soul, the trick that you have to understand about getting through it, first off, I mean, everyone's on their own process, so they're going to come to certain information at perfect times in their life. Divine timing is huge with the dark night of the soul. So you're going to come up to certain situations, and the most important thing to realize is that you don't owe anyone anything. You don't owe anyone an apology. You don't owe anyone your energy, because that is the most confusing thing about the dark night of the soul. It is literally a purging process of all of these low vibrational brain chemicals and toxins that are stored in your body. That's why usually people will come out of it having some type of physical illness or even a mental disease or illness. They might go insane. This is why I personally am so concerned about the state of our society, that we lock away people that have a mental illness. To me, they're people that could possibly be going through a dark night of the soul, and if you can come out of it, you'll come out even stronger, and usually you'll have like heightened intuition. You'll be getting more on your life path, on your purpose. It makes you so much stronger. But the trick to getting out of it, so this is something that I personally did during the process. Every day I made sure I was running, journaling, being out in the sun, because you have to understand, if you are going through that process, it's so crucial for you to be getting photons of light from the sun. The photons of light, they literally quantum tunnel through the atmosphere of the earth, and that's how we get our energy. So that's one way that you can kind of raise the vibration of the cells in your body to move through that process a little bit smoother. That's probably the most crucial thing to understand about the dark night of the soul, is how crucial it is to be out in nature and letting the energies purge all of this stuff out of you. And then during a certain phase, you'll have to understand that your diet is huge. We as humans are evolving to a completely different state within the cells of our body. We're raising our vibrations and raising the vibration of the earth. All of us are connected. So this is why food and cleansing is such a big part of the process. This is why cleansing and doing water cleanses is so big and such an emotional process, because when you start doing it, you're literally cleansing out those low vibrational emotions of shame, guilt, and fear, of cortisol. You'll go through your emotions. You will experience your emotions when you cleanse. Those few things are huge to pull yourself out of the process, but understand that while you're going through the dark night of the soul, you're literally just going back psychologically to earlier times in your childhood development, where those brain chemical releases very first started, where they were first stored in the cells of your body. That's the thing you have to understand, is that's not a vibrational match to you anymore. You've evolved too much in your thoughts. You've created too many new realities and dreams and aspirations. And if your cells aren't lined up with that, you will experience the freaking vibrational gap between that. And you'll have to cleanse. You'll have to just purge that shit out of you. Hardcore. That's the fascinating thing that I saw during my own process, is that the people I was attracting, I was seeing that it went back to specific times in my childhood development where maybe even I had been not nice to someone, where I felt guilt unconsciously over the way that I treated someone. And it was almost like these people were coming back into my experience to collect their karmic debt. But it was really because I was becoming aware of those low vibrational brain chemicals that were released in the very first place. So that's how you can kind of understand your process that you're going through. Understand you are not crazy. If anyone is going through that right now, you are not crazy. You are normal. You are strong. You will get through it. Push through. The other side will be incredible. It will be absolutely amazing. I can guarantee that 100%. my heart just goes out to people that experience this. You are feeling all of these stored up chemicals passed down to you through your whole family line. Every shame, guilt, fear of rejection, fear of abandonment that was passed down to you from your parents and through the family line, you are feeling that. And because you are so strong. Know that. And know that you're going to get through this situation. I hope that cleared some things up, gave someone some clarity about what they might be experiencing, what's going on in their experience. So much love and peace to you on your journey, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.